Hello and welcome to BBC News Facebook. I'm Laura Westbrook and I'm here in New Broadcasting House in the heart of London at the BBC. Now I'm just going to flip my phone around and I'm going to show you down there. Now that's Europe's biggest newsroom. That's where our English teams from the UK 6 and 10 o'clock news, the World News Channel, you can only see about half of it actually because it's covered by that bit. But this is the atrium, and I'm going to show you where I currently am. I'm on the 5th floor. I'm just going to flip it around there. That's the 5th floor. And the reason why I'm on the 5th floor is because this is where the World Service languages are. And in my opinion, this is the coolest floor in the BBC because you come here and it's like the United Nations. There are like dozens of languages spoken. If you want to comment and ask how many languages there are spoken here, put them in the comments below and I'll tell you actually how many languages the BBC broadcasts in. And I see people are already commenting hello to Cambodia and Brazil. And I'm going to flip the camera around and show you the newsroom. This is the 5th floor and where all of our World Service languages are from radio and TV. Right here is someone from the Thai service. Hello. Sawadee ka. And over here, this is where our Urdu service is. Hello.
Hello.
So that they broadcast on TV as well as radio, and this is one of the presenters. I'm going to bring you over here as well. This is where the Indonesian service are. Hello, Indonesian service. Hello. And over here is where the Chinese service are. Hello, ni hao. Ni hao. So if you want to put any comments, just put them in the comments below. We actually, the World Service it's known for broadcasting all around the world in dozens of languages. If you want to put comments of how many languages you think that are broadcast, put them in the comments below. The World Service is broadcast to an audience of around 256 million people around the world. So that is huge, huge. And I know a lot of you are joining us from around the world. Now, I'm going to show you here. This is the BBC Hindi service. They've actually just finished one of their broadcasts. And Anne-Marie, hello Anne-Marie, she's going to bring us into the studio where we're going to talk to one of the presenters. Hello Neha.
Hi.
Have you just finished your broadcast?
Yes, I've just finished the broadcast and we're just trying to unhook, but let's chat.
So this is Neha. She is our BBC Hindi presenter, and I'm going to have a quick chat with her. We're gonna try and sit down here. I think someone's gonna help us put some chairs. Yeah. Here's Neil. Neil is gonna help us with some chairs. Hello, Neil.
Hello.
So we're gonna sit here and we're gonna pop this microphone on this table so we can have a quick chat with Neha. Let me just mic you up, Neha.
Sure.
There you go, just quickly mic you up and make sure this is framed okay. Right, Neha, how was the broadcast?
Oh, it was interesting. It was very good. We had lots of interesting stories, and one of our stories, we were trying to fill up a little bit more time on it because you know how it happens sometimes in live broadcasts. If something doesn't play, you've got to kind of get on with it. So yeah, it was quite exciting, quite different on a live broadcast.
And what was the story that you covered? What was your top story today?
Our top story was on the migration crisis and how the deal between Turkey and European Union and you know how so many migrants are being sent back, because that's a story which does resonate somewhere in India. You know, especially right now, people who are being sent back, most of them are Pakistani migrants. So Pakistan being our neighbor, a lot of people in India do want to watch a story like that.
Yeah, and tell us about BBC Hindi. We know that the World Service is broadcast on radio, but this is actually, we're in a studio, so it's for TV as well.
Yeah, so we used to do a weekly program, but now we are here with a daily program. Because our and it's a 10-minute broadcast. Shall I be looking at you?
No, you're looking at me.
I can look at both then.
You can see people are commenting here. There's someone from Bangladesh that's come in. If any of you want to comment and ask Neha any questions about presenting, about BBC Hindi, just put them in the comments below, and I'll put them to Neha and she can answer all of your questions.
Yes, so we do, cover a wide range of stories from other parts of the world, but we also try to focus on some stories which are relevant for our region. So, the Asian subcontinent and the Indian subcontinent.
Just to jump in there, Bruce has just written in. Hi, Bruce, saying, how is the BBC different from other news services? So how does BBC Hindi? Because actually, I went to India a couple of weeks ago, and I turned on the TV, and there are so many news channels in India. So how does the BBC kind of fit in with all of that?
See, it is a very competitive environment, I have to say. However, where we fit in is that we bring in, especially BBC's values, ethics, impartiality, and also the best of BBC journalism back to India. So what we try and do is we select the stories which our reporters from across the world have been doing and especially tailor them, move them for our audience in India. So I think personally, and I have worked for, before the BBC when I was in India, I have worked for other networks. So I feel it's very interesting to see the rigor that BBC puts into ensuring that stories are balanced, they're impartial. That is how I feel that we're different from other
and what are the audience like? I think you were telling me a bit about it earlier, because Hindi's been on air for 6 months now with your 10-minute daily broadcast. Well, what's the audience like?
See, the audience is quite different from what used to be our radio audience as well, because we have a lot of younger people, especially people between the age group of 25 to 35, and also a lot of working women. And earlier, when we used to do a weekly program before we became daily, and we saw these figures, it was really interesting to see who are the people who are watching our program, where exactly are they going, and very interesting and dynamic demographic we have now.
That is really interesting. And Syed, hello Syed, he's just written in saying, what do you prefer more? Do you prefer reporting in Hindi or English?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because I am a bilingual reporter presenter. So I do enjoy doing work in Hindi a lot because it's my mother tongue, and it's very exciting to work in that language. But also at the same time, you're constantly thinking in two languages. So that's what's interesting. But yeah, I think Hindi is my preference.
Well, do you want to say hello to our audience from India? Something and say hello in Hindi?
Yes, hello. What shall I say in Hindi? Namaskar. Swagat hai aapka BBC Hindi mein. So I'm just welcoming them on BBC Hindi in Hindi.
Yeah, and I see that there are people from Vietnam joining us, from Somalia, from Myanmar. Hello to everyone who's been joining us. Tyler's just written in saying, do you like your job?
Oh yes, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. As we were discussing before, I'm just coming back from maternity leave. So in the beginning I was a bit, I'm not sure how it will go. Will I be nervous, etc. But the first day back in the studio, and I absolutely loved it. I knew the reason why I'm here and how much I look forward to it every day.
Yeah, how was that coming back from, you were gone a year, how did it feel to come back? And it's quite a high pressure job doing presenting, isn't it?
It is, and I did not know how I would be feeling. Of course, for that 1 year when I was away, it was quite different to look after a baby at home. But now being back here, it's interesting, but the BBC, just the nature of the organization is such that, it's very supportive, and unlike most places, other parts of the world, we can get a year off, and then to come back here, I'm just waiting for my child to grow up and to be able to recognize me on TV. He finds it quite interesting when I dress up and I dress up to present, or if I go back home just like this, he'll look at me and giggle as though
not sure how to take you.
Like you look nice and you look different and you look formal, but are you still my mom? So it's that kind of look.
And you were saying that the Hindi service, so you show international news to an Indian audience. Sunny here has asked, what are your thoughts about the US Republican candidates in the presidential race?
Well, the thing is this, that as BBC reporter presenter, as any BBC journalist, we have to be extremely, extremely impartial and balanced. So we do have to give them equal weightage, actually representatively equal weightage. So we do cover this quite closely in our program, but we have to be sure that we're giving a very, very balanced view on this.
But you do report on the, you have been reporting on the race?
Yes, we do have a Washington correspondent, Brajesh, who reports from there very, very regularly, and we cover all the stories from America quite well.
And I see someone from Chennai has just joined us. Hello. And lots of other people from Birmingham even. So we've got people here in the UK as well as around the world. Other people have been commenting and talking also from Bhutan, but thank you so much. I know you've got to get home and get back to your son, so thank you for joining us.
Yes, you're welcome.
And thank you for all your comments.
Yeah, there was a comment from Nepal I saw, and I just say the person we spoke with on our program, Naveen, who's our environmental correspondent, he used to be with the Nepali service, and that's why it's so exciting to work here, because you work with people from different languages, but they bring in different specializations, you know, like his expertise being environment. So we're back here on this. It's a lot of fun.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to take your mic off.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to continue our tour, so stay with me. Bye, Neha. Thank you. All right, let's carry on. If you have a look here, this is one of the studios. So you can see the studio here. It's quite a big one, actually, and here's one of the cameras which still has auto cue on it. So definitely one of the studios where Hindi broadcasts from. We have language services who've also been doing daily broadcasts. Farsi, Urdu, lots of them do their daily broadcasts. And the Arabic service even has a 24-hour rolling news channel, which has its own news gathering operation as well. But I'm going to take you to speak to one of our other people who's from the BBC Somali service. But if you have a look here, this is where one of our radio studios. You can see the mic, and I look at all the buttons. I don't want to touch any of the buttons. But this is where we broadcast from the World Service. And the World Service, there's the clock. You can see the mic live. But my guest, actually, he was supposed to be here. He's not here. So we're going to have a bit of a hunt for him. So we were going to speak to Farhan from the BBC Somali service and about what it's like to broadcast from there. And I asked you earlier about how many languages the BBC broadcasts from, and it's actually 28. So it's a lot of broadcasts. And I spotted him. There he is. So this is where the BBC Somali sits, and this is Farhan. I went to the radio studio to find you, but here you are at your desk. I'm just going to pull up a chair. And give you a mic. So this is Farhan. He's one of the senior producers for
Hello, guys.
BBC Somalia. And how was your broadcast today? You had an hour-long program.
Yeah, we have just finished one of our flagship programs. We had our Friday discussion program, and the theme today was the diabetes. Actually, it's a disease that's affecting millions of our audience. So it was very very interesting topic, also educational as well as the informative program. And
we've got people joining us here from all around the world. Someone's from Iraq's just joined us. Hello, good to have you with us. And I think what many people want to know is that the BBC World Service Radio, it's one of the things that is most known about the BBC. People in Africa and other parts of the world listen to it and trust it as a source of news. But covering Somalia must be quite difficult. It's quite a challenging country. How do you report from it? Tell us about that.
Well, in fact, what we do, we have reporters on the ground, although we have a very small team here in London. But we have also another team in Nairobi, where there is a big BBC office in East Africa. And then we have reporters in Mogadishu, in Hargeisa, and then we have some freelancers all over the Horn of Africa region, whether it's Ethiopia, Djibouti, which is today leading one of our leading stories because the election is taking place in Djibouti. So we normally rely on the reporters on the ground as well as actually sometimes doing the job from here, because we always do some and conduct some interviews from London as well.
Yeah, and other people are saying hi from Scotland, from New Zealand. Thank you very much for joining us. You were saying about you've got reporters actually in Somalia, but BBC Somali is broadcast across the Horn of Africa. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you,
also,
so which countries are you broadcast? Do you
well,
broadcast
mainly,
to Eritrea,
not in fact Eritrea, but actually to Horn of Africa. When I say Horn of Africa, it's Somalia, Djibouti, which is a Somali-speaking country, a part of Ethiopia. You have got Somali region in Ethiopia, as well as also northeastern Kenya, where you have a Somali ethnic population. So we broadcast the Horn of Africa mainly for Somalia, but also we have other audience in the diaspora. Here in the UK, we have one of the largest Somali communities in Europe. So to Europe, America, Australia, Somalis are all over the places these days.
And
so
Syed has just written a question in saying, why is reporting in Africa difficult? What are the challenges to reporting from Africa?
Well, if I say Somalia, actually, everybody knows that Somalia has been in a war in itself for the last over the 25 years now, I think. And it's been very difficult to report from the ground, but we still try to actually get the information as soon as we can and then deliver to our audience. And the BBC Somali service, it's an institution that has been actually around for a long time. Next year, in fact, we are celebrating our 70th anniversary. So one of the biggest, one of the oldest Somali media institutions. So in fact, the Somali audience consider the BBC as their own national broadcaster.
And how do people consume the news from Somalia? Do they consume it on shorthand radio, the internet? Do people have smartphones? What's the kind of infrastructure there for
Primarily,
people?
it's actually for radio. We broadcast on shortwave, also FM on main cities like the Mogadishu, Djibouti, also Kenya. We have FM stations as well. And also we broadcast online. We've got BBC Somali website where people who have internet access can go and then listen to our programs online.
That's really, and then people have been commenting there. One person has said, "Do you like your job?"
Yeah, very much actually. I like and I'm enjoying as well.
And ours has just said, "How many languages are there in Somalia?"
Well, there's only one Somali language. Somali people speak the same language. They have got the same religion, Islam, and they have the same culture. So they all speak Somali language, and we broadcast in Somali.
Someone's just said, can you show us the newsroom? So we'll give you a quick tour of the newsroom. This is actually the running order, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the running order of our last program, which will go on air just in about an hour.
If you have a look here, so this is
the Africa Hub.
This is the Africa Hub that you can see down there. That's all of African services, Afrique, Somali. There are over 29. There are 29 language services here. And so keep sending in your comments. I think someone Lewis has just said, how long have you worked for the BBC?
For me, well, actually, I have been working in London since 2007. But also I worked in Mogadishu back in 2001 and 2002 as a freelance. But here in London I have been based for the last 9 years now.
And you were saying that you broadcast to the Somali diaspora. They make up a huge population. And yesterday there was a story that you were covering about a woman in England. Is that right?
Yes. Well, that was one of the stories we've been covering yesterday, because we not only serve our audience on Horn of Africa, but also Somali communities in the UK, because by the end of the day they are part of the taxpayers. So we have to also cover their stories. So this was a Somali woman who was allegedly said that she has been racially attacked by a man in West London while she was shopping somewhere. And then we actually spoke to her, and then we've asked her as a victim what she has experienced and what the story was about. And actually we put that story on our BBC Somali Facebook, which has over 500,000 followers at the moment. And then people has been commenting actually, and it had actually a lot of engagement on social media as well.
So we have people who listen to BBC Somalia from all around the world, as well as here in the UK. Farhan, thank you so much for joining me. It was really, really interesting to speak to you.
You're most welcome.
I'm going to take the microphone off
Pleasure.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For all your comments. It's been great showing you around the BBC World Service newsroom. I'm Laura Westbrook. You can follow us on our BBC News Facebook page. Just hit like. Thank you very much.